Welcome to episode 22, Clunking Shoulder Sound. You're here watching this or listening to this episode, so I'm assuming you have this or know someone that does. In this episode, I'm going to break down what is going on with the shoulder and why so many people have this and how to begin fixing it.
Welcome to the Posture Strength and Mobility Podcast. I'm Isaac Osborne, and I'm here to share with you tips, tricks, hacks, interesting musings, and much more in short, digestible episodes. To learn more about how you can improve your posture strength and mobility, check out the show notes for links. Onward with the show.
All right, what is this clunking sound that we're hearing? I used to have this sound in my shoulder until I fixed it, and this is what my posture looked like. Pretty sorry. And I'm going to explain to you what's the most sorry part of this posture here in a second. Now, when the shoulder, the movement that I'm talking about is this movement here like this. You move your shoulder and you hear this clunking sound. And I'm not talking about clunking in the shoulder joint specifically right here. I'm talking about you hear this clunking sound coming from around this area back in here. So if you move back and forth, and do you hear that clunking noise? Well, that clunking noise, it's a good chance that it's actually your ribs, and it's how the shoulder blade is moving across your ribs. Now, if we look at the skeleton, we can see that the ribs all have some pretty nice spacing in here. Now, this isn't completely correct of what your rib cage looks like, but it's pretty close. You should have a nice spacing between your ribs when you're in a standing posture. And most of the time, unless you're really going hard in a cardio activity and then you're getting more movement through those ribs and more closing of the ribs. However, the problem here is that most people have very closed rib cages. If you want more information on this, check out my video in the podcast series, Is Your Core Killing Your Neck or Back? In that video, I go into great depths about the rib cage. We're going to go into some detail here as well, but those are some of the main causes of those issues and what I talk about that in that video. All right, so look at these ribs here. See how I can press this rib down, and I can press this rib down right here. And that's the first rib, second rib. We got third, fourth, and fifth rib. So we can get compression in all these ribs. And most of the time, people are really compressed in their first and second ribs. Now, the first and second ribs, when they're compressed, you can see here the spacing between them, how open it is here. And then when we press those down, the spacing decreases in those ribs. Now, when the spacing decreases, the shape of the rib cage is actually shifted and changed, right? So here, it's more flat in this area, and this actually kind of becomes more of an edge right here. So when the shoulder blade tries to move forward along this area, and the shoulder might already be rounded, so when it tries to move along in this area, there's this edge that has to go over. And that edge, what we're not seeing here on the skeleton, is all the muscle and the tissue and everything that's in this area. So that edge, it has to go around the edge, and so it's actually going to clunk over. It's going to make a clunky sound because it's going to hit that area, hit it, and then clunk over, and then coming back, and then clunk back over the rib cage again. Now, this clunky sound is annoying. For the most part, more than likely, most people don't have pain. It didn't cause me pain in this area, but it actually can considerably compress and cause pain in the shoulder joint. You may even get crepitus or clicking sounds in the shoulder joint from having this type of dysfunction in your rib cage. Now, is this dangerous? More than likely not. However, it's going to lead to other possible issues. For instance, if your upper ribs are compressed in this area, it's going to affect your neck because of how it pulls on the trapezius muscle, how it pulls on the scaling muscles. Jock just lost his jaw right there. And how it's going to pull on the rhomboid muscles and torque these vertebrae themselves. It's also going to lead to potential issues with range of motion, bringing your arm over your head, because basically the rib cage provides a really nice foundation for our shoulders to work off of. And if we don't have that proper foundation and stability in our rib cage, our shoulder can't articulate properly. The muscles aren't going to articulate properly. A rule of thumb that I always say is joint position influences muscle activation. So an example of that is that my wrist position is going to affect the activation of my bicep muscle. If I turn my wrist up, I get a fuller activation of the bicep. Now, if I hold my wrist in this position, I'm not going to get a full activation of the bicep, like say when I'm doing a bicep curl. But also, if my shoulder's not in the right position and I'm doing a bicep curl or I'm trying to do a tricep, activate my triceps, then it's not going to activate the muscle fibers to the full potential that they can go into. So what comes first, the chicken or the egg, doesn't really fucking matter. But what matters is that we get into the rib cage and start restoring the proper function into the rib cage in conjunction with proper shoulder stability and positioning and in proper relationship to your breathing. Because obviously, if the rib cage is having issues with the ribs not opening properly, then there's a breathing issue. Whenever there's a breathing issue, there's a spine issue. And then a spine issue can basically snowball into shoulder issues, neck issues, pelvis issues, and so forth. Okay, so the corrective exercise that I'm going to show you is part of my membership program. I just released a class in the membership program today that is clunking sounds and pinching in the shoulder joint. And so this is one of the corrective exercises from that class. So if you're interested in my corrective exercise posture therapy program where I can coach you through classes and what's going on for you, this one exercise is an example to kind of give you an example of what I have in the course. Of course, any corrective exercises I do on my podcast are in relationship to what I have in my program. So check out the program. It's in the show note links. And here's the exercise. Now what you're going to do is you're going to need a wall, stand up against the wall. Your heel's going to touch the wall. Your butt's going to touch the wall. Then what we're going to do is bring our arms out to the side in this position like this. Make sure your feet are pointing straight ahead. Their ankles are at a hip width distance apart. Keep your thumb in contact with the wall. What you don't want is that thumb coming off the wall. And if you're feeling any pain in the shoulder while you're doing this, go ahead and lower your arms down to more 45 and see if that helps the positioning while you're here. Okay, so keep your butt against the wall. Your low back is not against the wall. Upper back and your head is against the wall. So now I'm going to keep my arms in this position. So now I'm going to inhale. Nice deep breath. Belly comes out. Ribs open up. And then I'm going to exhale and just slightly move and tilt over. Don't let your hips move as you shift. It's just a slight shift. Don't pull all the way down. That's not the point here. So just exhale, just slightly tilt over that way, and then inhale, back to this position. Now exhale, and then inhale, back to the starting position. And now exhale to the other side. And now I'm tilted over to my right side. Now when I inhale, I use that breath to push me back up to this position. And then I exhale to the other side. And then I inhale back to that starting position. And I exhale. And then I inhale back to that starting position. Okay, relax, shake it off. Your shoulders might be burning at this point. Now we're going to go a little bit wider with our feet. I'm going just a little bit outside of the width of my yoga mat here. Now, remember, when you tilt to the side, so if I tilt to this right side and I inhale, I feel pressure in the side of my abdomen here, filling, and that's pushing me back up. Rather than pulling with the other side, I'm using internal pressure to create space and bring me back up to this upright position. Okay, ready? So inhale, and now exhale, and now inhale, back up, now exhale to the side, and then inhale back up, and now exhale to the side. Now inhale, and now exhale. Inhale, and then exhale. Inhale again, and now exhale. Inhale again, and now exhale. And one more time. And then exhale to the side. Inhale back up, and take a break. Relax. So that exercise, what it's doing is really opening up the shoulders, and then we're also getting this lateral movement in the rib cage while you're using your breath to do so.
Thank you for joining me for this episode. If you liked it, please subscribe and leave a positive review so others may find it and get help too. Check out the show notes for links on how to win a mini integrator massage gun, posture strength and mobility classes that focus on corrective exercises, or self-myofascial release protocols for neck pain, back pain, knee pain, plantar fasciitis, and much more with my massage gun, the Integrator. Until next time, keep exploring your body and stay curious.